I'm the futurist Dave Wild, and I'm here to show you how to Mindflex, because it's how you can shift and adapt and lead through a fast-changing world. So let's begin by taking a look at some of the fundamentals of Mindflexing. In business, so often we're trained to look at what's proven to work. That, however, is where history repeats in a predictable way. So as well as keeping your eye on what's proven to work, you also need to take a look at the edges, because that's where the future begins. Now, being a visionary leader enables you to look out beyond that edge and see what's ahead of us. So from where you currently are to where you can lead that organisation and your team to be. So you need to have the ability to see those blue skies, those possibilities ahead. But at times that can be really difficult. So looking forward often to people feels like you're asking them to follow them into that revolutionary future. Now think about it. When you ask someone to step off from the edge, you don't just ask them to step out into this. You equip them with something to help them navigate the unfamiliar. However, in this case, we're not talking about equipment that goes on the outside. We're talking about a way of equipping yourself internally. So in terms of the Mindflex that you're able to develop. Now, looking at the concept of a Mindflex, a lot of people talk about the need to have a different type of mindset. However, if you think about it, mindset's actually the problem, because set means fixed in a specified place or position. So if you stay set where you are, then you actually block the future. However, to flex means to bend, to move or stretch in order to exercise. So it enables you to flex forward and to adapt to those shifts and changes that are all around you. And to Mindflex doesn't mean to be weak-willed, so letting go of your opinion. You can always return to your strong opinion at any point, but your ability to put that to one side and flex forward enables you to lead others. Now, there's a bit to remember, but the core principle that you hold in your mind to enable you to Mindflex is the word leap. And you'll see that the word leap stands for 4 different mind flexes that you push your mind through. So I find it really useful to think of a physical shift. So for example, you're pushing forward into the future, and a progressive mind flex enables you to see that future more clearly. At the same time, to enable you to move forward with confidence and greater strength, greater foundations, you can apply a leveraged mind flex, which enables you to stand on the shoulders of giants. And then you can also think about a vertical axis, so moving upwards, up to the impossible, because the people who change the world are the ones who let their mind dream and wander. At the same time, the problem often is that there's too many ideas. People writing ideas down, creating post-it notes, posting comments, but not actually doing anything with them. So your impact lies in the middle of shifting from the impossible to the possible. And so that's where an active Mindflex becomes really important. All of those combined together enable you to Mindflex to be future ready, to move forward into that future with confidence and lead others as well. Now, to navigate those shifts and changes, it's useful to have a framework to understand the forces that you're competing against. So if you look forward to the shifts and changes that are going on all around it, you can see 4 main megatrends driving things. So one is greater social impact. We're now more connected than ever. The way you lead your organisation, the way you lead your team, you've got to think about the social impact. Now, why is that happening? Well, because we're far more connected than ever. So what that does is through a network, it accelerates that pace of change. And although you can see some of those changes coming, other changes seem to come out of nowhere. And so that means as a leader, you're dealing with unpredictable volatility. So the ability to flex through it is increasingly important. And as we look at the shifts and changes around us, we're moving into a world that goes beyond digital. So into this 4th industrial revolution. Now, let's just pause for a moment to explore this particular megatrend with a little bit more depth around it. So the Industrial Revolution, there's been multiple of them, each of them lasting about 100 years. So first of all, we mechanised things. That was the first industrial revolution. Then we electrified them, which increased the pace and mass production. And then the digital revolution actually began 50 years ago. So we're at peak digital now. We're midway through that shift. Meanwhile, the fourth industrial revolution is beginning alongside it. So that creates a linkage between the forces of digital, physical, and biological. So as a Mindflexing leader, that's where you can create the future at the intersection of those shifts and changes. For example, if you look at some of the work that came out of the World Economic Forum, looking at the future of jobs and the 10 skills that you need to thrive in the fourth industrial revolution. If you dive into that and look at the shifts between a period of 5 years from 2015 through to 2020, what were the top 10 leadership skills required and how did those compare between those periods? And if you start to do that comparison, you can see that 2 new critical top 10 skills came in. So cognitive flexibility, this ability to flex your mind, which then enables you to work with greater emotional intelligence. And you can also see the fastest rising skill. So it had been identified back here at number 10, all the way up at number 3 now in terms of the need as the leader to work with greater creativity. Now those skills enable you to be future ready. And what do I actually mean by that term future ready? Well, to be future ready means you're ready for the future as it arrives. You have what you need to work with there. So if we now step back into those shifts and changes and those forces that you're navigating your way through, that's where building a Mindflex within your own thinking enables you to move forward into that future with far greater confidence. Now there's a bit of complexity to how you work, but at its essence, you can think of Mindflexing like this. It's almost like you're paddling through rapids, and when you move through rapids, at times you need to go with those forces, at times you need to shift out of them, and at times you just really need to go the other direction. But that flexing means you're not just riding with the rapids and wherever they take you, you're charting and navigating your own course forward. Now, in order to do that, we're going to be covering the 4 key principles of Mindflexing. So these are the 4 Mindflexes you have and the thought patterns that enable those to happen. And they sense the future around you, to know almost nothing, explore beyond the edges, and colliding ideas with reality. So in order to explore those in more depth, let's head on forward now into that future. And I'll see you there.